Hello everybody and welcome to Dropkick to the Commute. A very special episode today, but before that, I just wanted to say, hey everybody, indigestion is not fun. Make sure you take your Tums when you're feeling a little something down in the slums.
Or take your Pepto afterwards.
I'm here with Mufasi, obviously.
Hello.
I would have stated earlier if he wasn't, part of the festivities, but hi. How are you?
I'm good.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was my birthday. I'm 26 years old now.
Happy birthday! Go get your own insurance.
I've had my own insurance for 5 years.
Happy birthday! He's independent, folks. Oh, it's not a good thing.
No.
You know what is a good thing?
NXT Battleground Las Vegas.
NXT Battleground live from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, in case it wasn't reiterated to us like 50 times last night. Great show.
Yeah, overall, very good.
But pretty solid.
I heard through the grapevine that WWE talent was not happy with the ring.
Right, it was bumping around a little bit.
So narrow. They had no room for anything.
Oh, that's a fire truck.
Woo, woo. Wee, wee.
I hope they're okay. Yeah, I think it was just the area around the ring. But also I did at some points the ring itself was moving.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I could imagine that would make me unhappy too.
Yeah.
I've been to live shows where that is how the ring is, and it's fucking scary. I've filmed wrestling shows where the ring moves and I'm like, should I fucking move out of the way before I get obliterated?
Yeah, right.
But overall, very solid show, very well rounded. There were some ups, there were some downs. We're gonna talk about them today.
Hell yeah, brother. Our first up and the first match of the night was the ladder match for the Women's North American title, and it was very good.
I feel like it had to be the first match,
Yeah,
we had to set the tone. We had to start off big.
Start off with a bang. Kelani Jordan got the dub. I wanted Sol Ruka to win, but Sol Ruka fucking shined, dude. She shined in this match.
Yeah. She definitely had her fair share of moments in the match.
Yeah.
We had a couple of soul snatchers.
Yeah, that double soul snatcher spot was so great.
Oh man, it's such a cool move.
Yeah.
It's very. I feel like it's sometimes very hard to reinvent the wheel in wrestling, especially with moves. So to have a move like that honestly, not a lot of people could say that they can do, and it requires a very athletic wrestler to pull off.
Oh, for sure.
Sol Ruka is that wrestler. And
yeah.
She had a good showcase, and a lot of Michin looked really good too. Michin's been making her rounds. She's everywhere. She was on SmackDown, and she was here, and she's just proven that she belongs at the top.
Yeah, in the main roster, and she can hold her own for sure. A spot that I really liked that involved pretty much everybody was we had a cool piggyback spot where Lash Legend was on the bottom, and then everyone started jumping on her, but they all piled up vertically.
Yeah.
And she was holding 4 of them at once, and it was so good. And then we had a ladder set up on the outside between the ring and the commentary table, and 4 of them picked up Lash Legend and fucking chucked her out of the ring from the ladder. She was at the top of the ladder. They all grab her, pull her down, and they threw her onto the ladder, and that shit looked like it hurt, bro.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
And the ladder did not break either.
No, it did not break at all.
It was crazy. It was hectic. It was all over the place. And Kelani Jordan is your new North American Women's Champion.
First ever.
So, first ever. Yeah, true.
How do you feel about it? Because I don't know Kelani Jordan that much.
I feel like they haven't talked her up a whole lot.
Yeah.
But again, I don't. We're just kind of coming in here. So and
Yeah.
people are like, we're chanting like, you deserve it, you deserve it. So I have to imagine that she deserves it.
Yeah.
Who am I to say? I think anyone in that match, aside from Michin, who's main roster, and like, I really thought it would be like Fallon Henley or Sol Ruka, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because, again, just listening to the way that they talk about them and like present them,
yeah, and even their reception from the audience too. I feel like, when their entrances felt the biggest, Fallon Henley and Sol Ruka, like they came out and the crowd was actually like going crazy for them. So,
yeah.
I thought either of them were gonna win as well, but Kelani Jordan I think is fine. We're gonna get more of her now that she's the champ, so it'll be fun to see what happens with her because I don't really know her that much. So
congratulations to Kelani Jordan.
For real, come on the podcast. We'll have you on. After that, we had the tag match for the NXT tag titles. Axiom and Nathan Frazier retain. Overall, it was like a good match, and I don't really have anything of note from it, but I mean, they're high flyers, they're fun to watch, and yeah.
Dude, they are so insanely athletic and fast.
Yeah.
I want to say there was a spot where Frazier like kipped up and then did a back handspring off of the kip up.
Yeah, he did.
A double back handspring, actually. And I was just like, how is he doing that?
They traded tags a couple times, and they were just fucking like Axiom would tag, and then Nathan Frazier would come in and fucking run around like a madman, and then he would tag Axiom, and Axiom would run around like a madman. And dude, they move so fast, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think this match with the Good Brothers really meant. Well, it didn't mean anything.
Right. And what we talked about with the Good Brothers like a couple weeks ago is like, why are they there? Why are they there?
Well, they're doing stuff with AJ Styles too. There's a lot of double. They're like booked on main roster and on NXT.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they're going any further with the Good Brothers, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It was a good match, though.
Yeah. It was solid, and again, it's just like the story like didn't really mean much, but it was a good match overall, which I guess that's essentially what matters, entertaining for that moment.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah, it was good to see. And then we had the NXT
Battle Under.
The Battle Down Under. NXT
we went
Underground.
down under we went down under to fight some MMA.
They need to stop doing these matches.
Underground's a cool concept, but I honestly think it's just the fact that they're both MMA fighters, like trained.
Yeah.
And I think like if you put two guys, like I'm trying to think of people that fought in Underground before. Raw did it back in the day, and that's all I remember. But like they would do like remember Commander Aziz?
Oh yeah.
They'd do like Aziz, and then like I don't know. So Aziz and Madcap Moss back when they were like using their old names. It was Riddick Moss and Daba Kato was what his name was. Just like, but like, just based on appearance and what we know, like we know that Shayna Baszler, they like drilled it through our heads that Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice are like trained MMA vets, and I think just because we knew that, if we were just perceiving them as like wrestlers that aren't familiar with this territory, I think it could be taken a little more seriously.
Yeah, but
just knowing what we know, honestly. If I was them, I would have just said, have an actual fucking fight.
Right.
They're owned by UFC. Like, work something out, man. Or they're merged, whatever.
Yeah, they're both trained MMA fighters, so, like, fucking have the match,
unless they really just like don't want to get hurt or they don't want to risk hurting either one of them. But like at that point, I don't know. Have two other people do it. Like if we know that that's like where they were trained in, then it's like, well, we know it's not real. I don't know.
And for the record, this isn't a knock on Shayna Baszler or Lola Vice. I think they're both like great performers.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
they're both great
Shayna
performers,
Baszler.
and they're both like yeah, same. I also love Shayna Baszler. I love the stuff she does in the main roster. I'm excited she's in the triple threat tag match at Clash. That's going to be really good, and she's always good in those kind of matches. But putting those two in this environment, in this match, it's like it just doesn't make sense to do, and it's not that fun to see. Because if I wanted to watch UFC, I'd watch UFC.
I'll just go watch UFC.
You know, and there they would actually knock each other out. But here it's a fake knockout, and it's like, I don't know.
I also thought it was funny because like I've watched UFC before, and like you can clearly tell when there's almost always when there's a knockout. Lola Vice was just wailing on Shayna Baszler, and the ref just like leaped on top of her. Yeah. But she wasn't like out; she was just like selling punches.
Right? Yeah, she had her hands still up in front of her face.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, huh?
It was really
but
weird.
It's interesting. I would say they could do without the underground matches unless they do it with just people that aren't MMA fighters.
Yeah, because like the one between Natalya and Lola was like it wasn't.
I liked it more.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't like bad to watch. I liked it. I liked it way more than this one. So
also, I think like let's bring back the fucking fight pit. You know, with the
that's a cool one.
That's a classic, and that's like an NXT. You know, that started in NXT, so bring that shit back, and then you have like a wrestling twist on it. It's not fully, just a fight. But I think another thing that just like took me out of it too, it's like Lola Vice is coming in the match all mean and does her thing, kicks Shayna Baszler's ass, and then just like the second the bell rings, a switch flips and she's just shaking her ass.
Yeah, she did her dance. Yeah. Well, I guess she did that in UFC too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it was. It wasn't. It definitely was my least favorite of the night. Yeah. I would pay money to see them actually have a fight.
Yeah, that would go hard.
Yeah, because again, they're both very good at what they do.
Yeah.
Just not good enough to put on a fake UFC fight.
Yeah, right. After that, we had the triple threat with Wesley, Oba Femi, and Joe Coffey. And Oba Femi, dude.
Big man.
Incredible. So Oba Femi retains, and the whole match, he's just like tossing those two around. He picked up Wesley and threw him into Joe Coffey like 4 times.
He was making them both look small, and Joe Coffey is like deceptively actually kind of big.
Yeah.
Like he's a beefy dude. And Oba Femi, I honestly thought Wesley was gonna come out on top for this one. I thought it was gonna be like his big return from injury, and he would like pin Joe Coffey or something, and then Oba Femi wouldn't take the pin, so he'd still look good.
Yeah.
But they're going the route, just keep Oba Femi looking dominant.
Yeah, and it's not a bad choice.
Nope. I love his music though. Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh.
We had a really cool spot where Oba was like up on the corner, and Wes climbs up from the apron onto like above him, and Oba picks him up over his head from the top rope and throws him halfway across the ring into Joe Coffey.
I was so worried because of his back injury. I was like, this man's gonna like rupture 5 more discs.
Oh yeah.
Just like I don't know. He was taking some pretty big bumps. But it was a good match, solid match, and then afterwards, a lot of what happened, unfortunately, had to do with the interference from Gallus.
Yep.
And Wesley was backstage. He was pissed. He said, "I'm not happy that it went that way." And then Gallus wrecked his shit again.
Yep.
So we're going in this direction. I don't know where it's gonna end up, but Gallus does not like Wesley. Apparently, they didn't dare go for Oba Femi, but they felt confident enough to take out the other guy. So.
Yeah, we're heading towards a Wesley and Gallus feud, which I don't know. It'll be interesting. Gallus kind of came in and just wrecked everybody that one night, and they're continuing to do so. Yeah. So
find out.
We'll see where it goes, as most things in wrestling.
Yeah. True.
Then we had Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne Perez.
Great match.
Incredible.
You know, I was shitting on the Pop Rocks, man. I think it's a matter of going both ways. It has to look sellable, and you have to sell it.
Yeah.
Jordynne Grace sold the Pop Rocks. I also just think it's because she's huge, and maybe that's why. You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I don't agree with a Code Red being a finishing move, but somehow they made it look good, and you know what? I'll take it, and I'll go home with it. These two tore the house down. We didn't get the Jordynne Grace title win like we had anticipated, but we did get some more cross interference.
Yep. So first we had Tatum Paxley come out. She walks up to where both belts are sitting, and she like looks at the NXT title, but then she turns and she grabs the Knockouts title, and she's like looking at Jordynne Grace and waving at her, and then out of nowhere, Ash by Elegance, aka Dana Brooke, comes out and fucking just clocks her in the back of the head.
Yup.
And then Jordynne Grace hits Ash by Elegance.
Yeah, very, very interesting, because I think she's like gonna be next for the Knockouts title. It looked like, based on the last episode of Impact, they had her come out and like watch the title match that Jordynne Grace had on Impact. So very weird. Where does Tatum Paxley fall into this? I don't know if she's gonna appear on Impact or if they're using it as a means to like promote her and Roxanne. But then if you do that, it's like, why did she take the TNA belt?
Yeah. So TNA's pay-per-view is Friday, and she's having an open challenge like we talked about. So I obviously, like, the dream booker in me now wants Tatum Paxley to show up as the open challenge. Or I wonder if they're going to have Ash by Elegance be the open challenge, and then Tatum Paxley comes out there and like helps Ash by Elegance win or something, and then they feud. Like, I'm wondering what's going to happen there. I think regardless of what happens, I think Tatum Paxley's going to show up on Friday.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be some involvement, and I wonder how far they're going to take the whole partnership.
Yeah, the whole like TNA collab.
TNA. Yeah, exactly. So we sit back, we watch. I'm definitely gonna. Well, I'll try to catch the pay-per-view. I'm going to watch the TNA pay-per-view at some point. Just not when it's live. But yeah, it's gonna be good.
I want to see more like TNA collaboration with the main roster. I think that'd be really cool, because obviously we had Jordynne Grace come out at the Royal Rumble. I think it would be cool. In the same vein, though,
like I think like the TNA crowd and the NXT crowd, like size-wise and like almost like vibe-wise, feel the same. And I feel like that's why they're doing it. Even like the style of wrestling they kind of do on NXT feels like very similar to TNA.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same like vibe overall, but like, I mean, look at the reception Jordynne Grace got at the Rumble, you know? So I don't think I don't think it would be a bad reception, but I do agree, like, NXT is more, I would say, niche almost, but, like, not really, because
I
it's
think it's a
fucking
good
WWE.
starting point.
Yeah, like, imagine if Ethan Page came out on, like, the main show. Do you think he would have had, like, the reception that he did?
No, but he didn't even really have a reaction either when he showed up in NXT. Like, no one... Because he kind of just looks like a generic white dude.
Yeah, he does.
He, like, had a reception. It just wasn't, like... He's not, like, at the point where it's, like, big pop. It's like, oh, we know...
The reception was all online.
Like, you didn't know who he was. And
yeah.
He was fairly prominent in AEW, but even then, he wasn't even that prominent.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff. We'll see where the partnership goes, how far they go with it.
I'm gonna run inside. Okay. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, this guy always has to fucking stop somewhere.
One more thing I just want to say is Jordynne Grace looked more like she looked like an absolute fucking unit. I don't know if it was her outfit or if it was, but even like watching TNA on Thursday and watching her on NXT, she came out this time and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. She is a monster.
They call her Big Mama Pump after Scott Steiner.
Really?
Yeah. She's... I started watching when it was like 2019, and her... If you look up just like a transformation picture of her in 2019 versus now, it is nutty.
I can imagine. We have our main event. Tricky Williams versus Ethan Page. Oh yeah, man. I like it. Whoop that
Anyways,
trick.
greatest theme song
Whoop
ever.
that trick. Yeah, greatest theme song ever. And then you know what's not the greatest theme song ever? Fucking Ethan Page's music. What the fuck was that? It's garbage, bro.
Yeah, is that some Def Rebel shit?
Yep.
Do you think they went to him with the entrance and they were like, do you think he had any say in like what he like, do you think they go to Def Rebel and they're like, this is what I want it to sound like? Or do you think creative decides? I feel like creative has to decide.
Probably
that.
Creative. I honestly, I have no idea. I honestly don't know. I just know that it was dog shit.
It was pretty dog shit.
It was. And I think his whole presentation is just off. Like, he came in as this, like, big, like, whoa! Like, it was supposed to be, like, this big thing, right? He walks into NXT and he's like, I'm gonna take that title. But his presentation, and honestly, the match itself was just kind of like... I mean, we certainly got some cool spots. I'm not saying it was bad.
I really liked the ending of it.
Yeah, I did too. I liked
everything leading up to the ending.
Yeah, and it went hard, but it was like, I don't know. Ethan Page himself, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of a, like, for it being Trick's first defense, I think it could have gone harder. But that's not on Trick, I don't think. And it's...
No,
I
don't think it's on Ethan Page either.
No, it's just his presentation is like, it doesn't feel big.
They also just kind of shot themselves in the foot when they made this his first match.
Right.
Like, 2 weeks ago he showed up, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That, I don't know. People kind of already knew who Jordynne Grace was, and, like, she's got the belt, too, so it was like, you know, she didn't need much time to establish herself, whereas not a lot of people knew who Ethan Page was. And, like, we had him show up the first week, and then the next week was just, like, the little promo. I didn't see the promo, so I don't know if he talked at all. But, and then it's, like, his very first match, his debut match in NXT, is for the title. And, again, not a lot of people know who he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just didn't have a good grasp on people. Like maybe they thought more people would have known who he was.
Yeah, maybe. He had a little thing in the middle of the ring with Ava, and because Ava was like, "Okay, bro, you need to sign a contract. Like, are you signing this or not?" And Ethan was like, "Yeah, I'll sign it, but do you see what's in there?" And she's like, I can't let you sign this, Trick." And he's like, "What does it say?" And she's like, "It says his first match is gonna be against you at Battleground." And that was the whole setup.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then he had a little promo, and it was like, oh shit, he's just walking in here getting what he wants. And I don't know, it felt big, but then he came out and performed, and it didn't feel big. So
from what I saw from that, it looked like they were doing all right.
yeah. And I like the whole table spot. The table, obviously, the commentary table.
That was
spot
gnarly.
was good. It was crazy.
It like exploded,
It did.
and then Booker's headset got disconnected, and he couldn't talk for a minute.
Yeah.
And then, we had like him kind of gathering himself in the corner, and then turning around, and he ran right into a trick knee.
Yep.
So I like a really just abrupt ending like that.
Yeah. With like a good finisher, and a finisher that is meant to be a finisher. Like
Yeah.
it was good. Again, it was a weird first defense, but I'm interested to see who they're gonna have Trick feud with next. And honestly, what they're going to do with Ethan Page, too, because this whole thing was, oh, I'm going to come in here and get what I want. Now what do they do with him?
Yeah, I don't know. Do they have him... In a lot of situations like this, they might have him go for it again, build him up a little more, and have him go for it again, but I think he should find another feud and then really get to that point where he is established as, like, a good heel in NXT, and then Trick... Yeah, I don't know what the plan is for Trick. I feel like this show, while being good, it has left us with a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like you tend to know like where something's going at the end of a pay-per-view. Sometimes you don't. Not comparing the two by any means, but like Double or Nothing. Like there were some questions, but like we kind of were just like, like what's next for Swerve but then like with the Mercedes thing, it's like this doesn't feel finished, and then like Anarchy in the Arena didn't feel finished either. But this one, I'm like, okay, where's Trick going? What do you do with Ethan Page now? The only one that I'm really interested from the show as of right now is the whole TNA knockouts situation.
Yeah,
that's probably and the North American Championship. That's,
yeah,
or the women's North American. Now we have to specify.
Yeah, and the thing about the TNA thing is there's so much focus on it right now. It's like hard to really care about anything else in there because it's such a huge moment, like in wrestling itself.
That was like the match that I was looking forward to the most.
Same, yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of just speaks to how great the women's division is in general.
Yeah.
Which I love, and again, that the new championship too is like a great next step for that. But yeah, I'll tune in this week definitely. I want to. After a pay-per-view, it's always interesting to see where they go next. I'd say very, very solid pay-per-view. I wasn't disappointed by any means. I was very excited for it, and the whole like stage design and everything looked good presentation wise, except maybe Ethan Page's entrance.
I like the set design and everything. I thought it felt good, other than it being so tight. Like you could tell they were struggling at some moments. Because I don't know how much the Performance Center holds, but I know the Apex I think was only like 700 people. So
really, only 700?
Yeah.
Or I guess not only 700, but 700 feels like a lot.
Yeah, it does. But
like it did not feel like there were 700 people there.
Yeah, it didn't. But overall, Solid NXT.
What's your star rating?
My let me take out my calculator for a minute and do my official Dave Meltzer star rating. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 stars.
I'll give it 3.5.
3.5?
And I won't explain why. That's the best part, is I don't owe anybody shit.
Yeah,
because you know why? Because my rating doesn't matter. I'm just some guy on the internet.
Oh man. Hey, Lear.
Hi.
Did you know that we opened up a Ko-Fi?
Is it Ko-Fi or is it coffee?
I think like it's coffee, but I like Ko-Fi better because it makes more sense.
You said let's start a coffee, and I was like, a Kofi? Like,
I think it's a coffee, yeah.
Kofi Kingston?
I don't like coffee though. I don't know. And
then Ko-Fi. I don't drink coffee, but I have seen people use it before, and it's like, pay for my coffee, whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We did. We opened a coffee.
Yeah. So if you guys want to tip the podcast and support us in that way, if you can't, totally fine too. Just keep watching and sharing and liking and commenting and all that. But it's
to the moon.
Hell yeah, brother. But yeah, check out that link down below. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support.
Guys, my car needs a new AC compressor.
Yeah, tip for Galier's
it's $700. It's $700.
Tip $700 for Galier's.
I'm just kidding,
AC.
but also that is a real problem that I'm having.
Hey, it would genuinely help with the podcast, so Galier wouldn't risk dying in his car. Gamers, don't forget to dropkick your indigestion.
God, it's been so bad. I don't know what I ate, but it did not agree. It disagreed, in fact.
Oh no.
Said, I don't agree with this. I didn't sign up for this. And okay, take your Tums, folks. Have a great night.
Beep beep.